Frequency forecast from Lee for 2024. 2024 is the time of allowing, of granting. Each person either allows himself to accept a new world or to remain in the old one. Old contradictions of the entire civilization are also being resolved. This could be called the final battle, but the meaning is entirely different. This is not a period when good and evil are wrestling. After all, when a chick has learned to fly, it does not need to compete in jumping heights with other chicks. When a person realizes responsibility for his or her own creation, they no longer need to waste energy fighting external forces. It is enough to accept who you really are to resolve all the issues in your field of reality. By now, humans have reached the limits of evolution possible in the third density. And now, we stand on the threshold of moving to the next one. The freedom of choice is granted to each person to go further or return to the beginning of the previous cycle. It is worth realizing that there will be no linear continuation of the old life. This game has reached its limits, which means that going back to the old cycle does not mean going back to the good old days. This will be an extremely dramatic story of rebooting the remnants of civilization after its destruction and transferring the game to other physical conditions. And the next round of the previous cycle will mean something like an immersion in a new version of the primitive tribal system, the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, and progress throughout many millennia. By choosing now to move to the fourth density, there are many options for a completely different future. They also include an acquaintance with the internal energies of the planet in the form of elements, and a recognition of those almost forgotten beings whom people know from myths and fairy tales. It is also the establishment of direct contact, for example, with the consciousness of whales and dolphins. We will also get to know different star worlds, not as some blue-eyed people, but as a different way of thinking and self-awareness. In addition, there is, so to speak, the option of timeless presence in several alternative realities of the Earth. This is difficult to understand in 2024, but by 2030 you will accept it quite easily. The fact is that after 2024 the game as such changes. There are new rules and new ways to play physical life. Therefore, now we are entering a period of destruction of old rules, the collapse of egregores, collective programs based on the suppression of other people. And all the coming shocks of this year are nothing more than the final chords calling on everyone to make a choice of their path. To understand these energies, imagine a situation where ice suddenly began to melt rapidly at a hockey match, and some of the players are still trying to play by inertia, almost having to dive for the puck, while others stop and begin to realize what is happening. Those who have stopped are no longer carried away by the previous game. Each of them decides what he personally needs to do now. After all, they've realized that continuing to play the game in these conditions is no longer possible. All the goals, achievements, and misses, everything was instantly reset to zero, along with the melted ice. And now, everyone decides how to leave the field on their own, perhaps helping others, or accepting help from others. In 2024, realize the very fact of the end of the old game and what you have chosen: to unite with those who take responsibility for creating personal reality, or to join those who are obediently waiting for a decision from above. But there is no real top. What exists for you is only your point of formation of the universe. The essence of 2024 will be that people will massively begin to realize their inner power. This will be facilitated by the flow of the source coming both from within and from without, in particular from the sun. The year promises to be energetically very pumped up. The only question is, who uses this power and for what? To increase their responsibility or to feed their fears? Remember that fear versus awareness is like paper versus scissors. You are not only protected, but also by the fact of making a conscious choice, you destroy the fears of the society where you are. On the ground you stand on, you personally create part of the matrix of the new world. You are literally the pillar of creation, and your vibrational frequency indicates what kind of world you support. The best attitude this year will be to ask yourself the question, what do I want the new world to look like? And if you manage to get rid of the topic of what to do with old problems, then all your energy will rush straight into the desired future. And in this case, the future will already become your present in 2024. That is, you personally can step over into a new density now if you understand the principle of non-involvement. Namely, your helping others is strong when you extend your hand from the higher grounds and fades away when you sink to the level of the fallen. Don't lower your vibration if you want to raise the vibration of another. Do not get involved in dramas and fears, but do everything to direct your thoughts towards what you desire. It is these thoughts that form how the fourth density would appear. You are preparing it in order to step in there yourself now, and by 2025, begin to attract others. Be a magnet for others, attracting people from the best collective scenario. Whoever you are, whatever stage you are at, realize that the collective reality will still change as a whole for everyone within the framework of the shift in the planet's frequencies. And they are precisely at the threshold level. The Earth plays on the side of those who are heading into the new world. It just so happened that she too is interested in playing according to the 5D rules. This is the case when the principle of all is well begins to noticeably play along with joy. Therefore, if you have difficulty with imagination, here's a simple tip for you to get through the threshold. Imagine yourself as often as possible on the beautiful earth where nature is magnificent and smiling people are everywhere. It is enough so that your higher self, your I am, could unerringly guide you through all the twists and turns of 2024.